Why does everyone love sex, yet it seems like God hates it? That's the question I asked myself years ago. But here's what most people miss. The biggest lie about sex didn't come from Hollywood. It came from what many people think the Bible says. Most people grew up believing sex is dirty, except in marriage. People stopped seeing sex as God's gift and started treating it like God's embarrassment. And that's one of the biggest reasons we misunderstand what God actually thinks about it. God didn't create sex as something dirty that marriage magically makes clean. It was already good because God created it. Marriage is where He designed that gift to flourish. Now you're probably wondering, why would God put something so good inside boundaries? What's so different about sex than every other pleasure God created? Before we answer that, there's something you need to know first. Everything God says about sex flows from this one foundational idea. The Bible never starts with a list of sexual rules. It starts with God's design. Hear this. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, God says, "A man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." In this passage, notice what God emphasizes. Not reproduction, not pleasure. Union. Sex isn't just something two people do. It's God's design for two lives to become one. That's why it can't be treated like every other pleasure. It was never meant to be casual. It was meant to create a bond. Now, this is the part that completely changed how I saw sex. Have you ever wondered what spiritually happens when you have sex? If you're learning something new already, I'd really appreciate it if you took a second to like this video and subscribe. Now, let's continue. The Bible says sex does more than just join two bodies. It makes two people one flesh. Jesus reaffirmed this in Matthew chapter 19, verses 4 through 6, reminding us that this was God's design from the beginning. But here's what's shocking. In 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 16, Paul says that even sex with a prostitute makes two people one flesh. Think about that. The act doesn't lose its power just because it's outside God's design. That's why sex is never just physical. God designed it to create a union, and that's why He placed it within the covenant of marriage. Now I know the question you're probably asking. Is sex outside marriage a sin? The short answer is yes. Paul doesn't soften it. He calls sex outside God's design sexual immorality and says it's a sin against your own body in a way no other sin is. But here's what most people miss. That's not God being harsh. It's God protecting something He calls sacred. Many of us don't want to follow God's design for sex because we're afraid we'll miss out on something. The truth is, God gave us His design because He doesn't want us to miss out on what sex was created to be. And if you're someone who keeps falling into this sin, even after repenting, you're not alone. The Bible has something to say about that too. I'll be making a video on it, so stay tuned. So here's what God really thinks about sex. He doesn't see it as something dirty. He sees it as something sacred. His boundaries weren't meant to take away your joy. They were meant to protect both you and His design. Think about fire. Inside a fireplace, it keeps a family warm. Outside the fireplace, it burns the whole house down. Did the fire change? No, its location did. Now maybe you're hearing this and thinking about your own sex life, the people you've been with, the lines already crossed. Maybe you're wondering if you've gone too far for God's design to still mean anything. You haven't. That's not the end of your story. What God does with a sex life that didn't stay inside the boundaries, that's what my next video is about. Subscribe so you don't miss it. God bless.